Part 1, recreating this gorgeous look my friend Etienne did on Lana Del Rey. We're going to start with a more full coverage eyeshadow base. Don't worry about your lid, but we are going to take it all the way up to the brow bone. Now my MAC artists are going to get this. Lana's eyeshadows are giving MAC texture. So I'm actually using the shade texture, but what I meant by that is they're giving the vibe. There's a look that MAC eyeshadows have that I can spot them across the room. So we're going to start with the shade texture. Grab rice paper, and we're just going to tap that above texture to transition. Switching to a smaller brush, the shade we're using now is called Shadow Lady, and we're going to start to stamp us out a crease here. And once we get out here, it's not quite as dark and it's a little more blurred, but there's still a wing shape. I'm taking the shade texture again on a fluffier brush and just kind of melting this on top of everything. We're going to take micellar water on a C30, sharpening it. We're going to clean up the front part of the lid to about right there. Now, do you see that natural fold? Do you see how I'm going above that? That's going to give us more lid space. Just grab a dark brown liquid shadow, place it here. And I'm going to start to stamp Shadow Lady on top, but I'm not going, see how that's still peeking out? I'm not going to go on top of that. Just give it a second. Now when you really want your golds, your bronze, your coppers to pop, yellow base. Especially if we're going to be on stage like Lana. And we're just going to take this to where we initially carved. And now our yellow is going to stay nice and bright. There's nothing for it to mix with. Nothing on my brush. I'm just going to feather this over into the rest of the shadow. We're going to pick up a classic. This is the shade Amber Lights. That's going to go mostly in the center of the eye. Oh, it's perfect. And now a kiss of Klimt, and that is going to go towards the front. So perfect. Now I'm actually going to do a wing with this Maybelline eyebrow pen. You get really nice precision. Back into the micellar water with the C30. Definitely adding a lash. And while you're here, I don't recommend putting your foundation on like this, especially not grabbing your brush and just going in. What's gonna happen is it's gonna become so uneven on whatever tool you're using, and it's gonna be uneven on your face, and that can cause patchiness. It's not gonna wear as nicely, so many different things. That's also too much for this area. I like it on the back of my hand, and if you don't like to use your hands, that's okay. You could even use a spatula. I don't mind using my hands. I'm going to smooth it out there. Now it's just ready for our brush or our sponge, but it's going to go on so nicely, and then it's going to be really nice on our brush. Look at that. Try it this way. Don't. I love you, but if you just skip that. I'm going to take the smallest amount of the foundation. We're going to take that on a fluffy brush, and we're just going to start to clean up. And we're also kind of melting this and giving our eyeshadow a little bit of our undertone. I feel like this Kiko Milano blush is perfect. Not too peach, not too pink. And we're definitely gonna focus that more on the side of the face. We're about to do a pretty strong sculpt. Now I want something not too warm or too cool. This is shade 201. And we're gonna use our cream sculpting brush for this to kind of keep that precision. And I did all of this before I do concealer. We're gonna sculpt with concealer, but we're still able to keep some really nice precision going on here, as you can see. I'm gonna bring it down the neck. Fun fact, I don't talk about this a lot, but the reason I got into makeup is because I used to be a singer and I used to do my makeup to go on stage every night. So we want a very bright under eye, but you'll notice I'm not using a bright concealer. I'm gonna start with a concealer or a corrector very close to our skin tone. That way when we apply our bright concealer, it doesn't turn ashy and gray underneath here. Bright under eyes need balance underneath them, or they turn into gray chaos. Now we can go in with a highlighting concealer, and over here we're not going to need the balance, because it's not as sunken in as our under eyes are, being human beings. I'm gonna get nice and close here so you can just watch this melt in. Such thin layers. You're never gonna have any kind of cakiness. And then watch it melt into the blush beautifully. And now we're gonna take it over here. I'm gonna first sculpt with the concealer brush, and then I'll reach for my foundation brush again to kind of melt. I'm gonna use this wet concealer to my advantage. This is a Melt Cosmetics pencil. We're gonna take an E27 and we're just gonna kind of tap to smudge it. I hate to do this, but because I don't film in TikTok, I have to upload the clips, and I can only upload 35 clips at a time, so you're gonna have to go to part 2, but I think it's worth it. I do apologize.